And good morning, everybody. Welcome, Hot Takes Goodman and Haertl. Bruce, welcome back to Denver.
Thank you.
Good weather for you this week.
I couldn't believe it. I got off the plane last night, and it was actually mild. I was pleasantly surprised. Good stuff.
How many people do you meet when you travel and you tell them that you live in Denver, and basically some of the first sentences out of their mouth are, God, it must be really cold there. Boy, you get a lot of snow, don't you?
You
don't understand the way Denver is built.
Yeah, you very frequently, and you ask the question knowing the answer.
Yeah.
You do get that very frequently. People do not have the concept of high desert in their brain. So I always go to that when I ever have a conversation, which I generally do anytime that I travel, about what a high desert really means and the dryness and all of that stuff. So, yeah, I mean, it was a get off the plane moment on December 9th last night, thinking, how can it be this mild, this warm in Denver, Colorado at altitude in this time of the year? Well, the answer is we live in a high desert and we get great weather, and that's why you'd never want to trade it for anything unless you're along the Pacific coast and can see the ocean.
With that, I want to tell you about the Sportsbook Bar and Grill. You can find them in the DTC Highlands Ranch and their new location in Parker as well. It has everything that you would expect out of a sports bar, an outstanding menu. The burgers are fantastic. Love the wings. The appetizers are terrific. It is so good that I've ordered takeout there multiple times. We are having a holiday party at our home on Saturday, and one of the things that we're going to be serving are the egg rolls, the Philly cheesesteak egg rolls that are made at the Sportsbook. I just think their egg rolls are amazing. So I made a special request to our caterer for them, and I can promise you it'll be duplicated exactly the way that I know how good they are. With that, the Sportsbook Bar and Grill, a great place to watch games as well as the Broncos chase down a Super Bowl, as the Avalanche chase down a cup, as the Nuggets chase down a championship. And fortunately for the Avalanche, no playoff games will be a shootout in which they could potentially lose their goalie. The Sportsbook Bar and Grill, you can find them in the DTC Highlands Ranch and Parker. Time now for the lead.
The lead is presented by Sasquatch Casino, a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
Just real quick before we dive in, the Avalanche have mastered losing shootouts.
It's
which
amazing.
To me is so unbelievably shocking with the offensive firepower that they have. Fortunately, no playoff games go to a shootout.
Yeah, I was thinking about this last night. How do you reconcile that? All of the scoring power and the aptitude that they have collectively, individually, for whatever reasons, at least in terms of not even a shootout, but overtime. I guess they got one their last overtime game, or two previous ones, excuse me. But no, you're right. It's hard to understand how that can possibly happen. I don't even know. What do you think? I mean, what is it? I don't know. I couldn't even begin to guess.
I mean, on its surface, if somebody told you this game's going to go to a shootout and you know about hockey, and I'm going to say to you, we're going to roll out, or they're going to roll out McKinnon, Netchus, Lehkonen, Makar, and Nichushkin. You'd be like, why are you even doing a shootout?
Just keep them
4 or 5 goals.
Right, exactly. And they don't ever. I mean, it's bizarre. It's one of those mysteries that I think at least this season will be probably eternal. I can't figure it out.
I mean, it's kind of like, I'm trying to think of a really good analogy here. But it's kind of like, let's go back to the 1990s, and games would be decided if it goes too long in extra innings. that you're going to roll out the Bronx Bombers and 5 guys get a chance, one swing to knock it out of the park, and the Rockies roll out the Bronx Bombers, not the Bronx Bombers, the Blake Street Bombers.
Blake Street Bombers.
And you're thinking, okay, I'm more than happy to go with Walker, Castilla, Galarraga, and whoever else.
Right.
And you'd be like, whoa. They're not losing this one, and they consistently lose.
Yeah, they swing and miss. It is one of life's mysteries to this point.
Yeah. By the way, did we do the lead yet? I think we did.
No.
Alex, did we do the lead yet?
No.
What's that?
We did. We sure did the lead.
Well, let's just do it again. Let's do it again. Let's do it again.
The lead is presented by Sasquatch Casino, a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
Nice, clean reset. All right, Bruce, there are 9 sports outlets recently and legitimate ones, ESPN, CBS Sports, Pro Football Talk. It's not like, this is Bill's power ranking. 9 sports outlets came out with their latest power rankings, and the Broncos are not number 1 in any of them. 3 of them had the Broncos at let me rephrase that. 2 of them had the Broncos at number 4. 1 of them had the Broncos at number 5, and another one had the Broncos at number 6. I understand the organization doesn't care about this. You and I, generally speaking, really don't care about this. It doesn't matter how you're being evaluated today. It's just how good you are to win a Super Bowl. But why do you think not one of those 9 outlets has put the Broncos at number 1, and they are the number 1 team in the NFL right now with the best record when you factor in their tiebreak against New England?
Well, probably for the same reason that, or at least some of the same reasons, that they have been home underdogs in each of their last 2 games. They were a home underdog against Kansas City. They're a home underdog this weekend against the Green Bay Packers.
But why? But because you're talking about setting odds.
Yeah.
Why do you think with these power rankings, all 9, that
the way they've won games, which to me is very misleading, and I'll back up what I say. There are only 5 teams in the National Football League that have a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense. The Denver Broncos are one of those 5 teams. They have a top 10 offense and a top 3 defense.
I know what their offense is in terms of statistics, but does this look like a top 10 offense to you, considering all the football that you watch, and I'm throwing in there all the football that I watch?
They don't look like Dallas, Buffalo, and Detroit. No. But they scored 22 against Kansas City, a team that gives up 16 or 17 a game. They had very good rhythm in the game against the Raiders and scored comfortably in that game. I think that their offense is in fairly decent rhythm, and it still has room to grow. Now, is it perfect? No. And do they still have moments of halting inconsistency? Yes, but it's less frequent than it has been. I was looking back at their 3 and outs, for instance, just to go to the lowest hanging fruit.
Right.
Their 3 and outs over the last 3 weeks have been negligible. I mean, they've been driving the football, and they've been generally scoring the ball at the end of drives. That's a good thing for an offense to be able to do. So, but answering your question, I think it is. I think there is a good portion of this is the way that they've won games, and the perception that people have. I think that there's still an unwillingness to go all in on the Denver Broncos, even though defensively they've been good from jump, great from jump. But that's fine. Ratings are a fun little thing for stuff like this, talk shows and barroom arguments. It's fun for that kind of stuff. In the end of the day, it doesn't mean a damn thing, because at the end of the day in the NFL, you're going to have a chance to prove yourself, and you're either going to win or you're going to lose with what you've got.
I think what I'm about to bring up to you is a pretty good sample size of why people don't look at the Broncos offense as a top 10 offense.
Okay.
The Raiders have lost 7 games in a row.
Mm-hmm.
These are the points they have given up. They've given up 24 to the Broncos. Before that, the Raiders defense gave up 31 to the Chargers, 24 to the Browns. 24 points to the Browns, the same number of points the Broncos just scored against the Raiders. They gave up 33 to the Cowboys. They gave up 30 to the Jaguars. They gave up 31 to the Chiefs. And that's where people look at it and say, yeah, you may have scored 24 points, but this defense is so bad, everyone else is scoring more on them.
Yeah, and by the way, they scored 24 points with 7 of them coming on special teams. I mean, so you could you could extend the argument even further if you really want to do that.
Well, let me extend it further for you.
Yeah.
Because one game I didn't mention in that 7-game losing streak was giving up 10 to the Broncos.
Yeah. I mean,
that's where it comes from. And I think that's a legitimate argument.
Yeah, I mean, it's a legitimate argument if power rankings are a legitimate argument, and they're not. So I don't worry about that. I hear you on perceptions.
Yep.
I don't care about perceptions either. It doesn't make me feel better about a team that I watch every day because someone in Poughkeepsie, that's voting on a power poll on the NFL Network, looks at them from afar. I think I know what I'm seeing week in, moment in and moment out.
I understand. Let me throw another example your way.
Sure.
Okay. And I am just doing this randomly.
Yeah.
I did not plan on this as part of the conversation, but it occurred to me as we were having the conversation. Let's look at the Commanders, not a very good defense. They have lost 8 in a row. They gave up 27 to the Broncos, which is a pretty good number of points.
In overtime.
For a game, 27, right?
Yeah, right. In overtime, right.
Okay. In overtime.
Yeah, in overtime.
So how many points did they score in regulation? 20?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's call it 20 if we're going to be apples to apples.
Sure.
Okay. They gave up 20 points to the Broncos during that 8-game losing streak. They gave up 31 to the Vikings, 16 to the Dolphins, 44 to the Lions, 38 to the Seahawks, 28 to the Chiefs, 44 to the Cowboys, and 25 to the Bears. And then continue this, 34 to the Falcons, 27 to the Packers. So, yes, they scored 20 points, which still isn't great.
No, it's not great.
But we're talking about regulation.
Right.
The Commanders' defense has given up more points to just about everybody else in their losses, except for the Broncos. And that's where that comes from.
The Broncos are averaging 23.7 points a game. If they continue at that level or another tick higher, get into the 24, 20, 24.3, 24.5, they're going to continue to win games. I mean, they just are, because defensively, this football team is giving up about 18 a game. And that's who they are. I mean, and they're starting to get more consistent play in special teams. They have, to a large degree, I knock on wood saying all of this stuff because, Sunday is another day. They've gotten their penalty situation under control. I mean, I gulped when, Nick Benito kept a drive going with an offsides penalty, last weekend in Vegas. But by and large, that is an area that they've cleaned up. They've basically cleaned up special teams. They're getting consistent special teams play. They've got a all-pro type kicker. They've got a punter that can flip the fields. They've got
they have a punter
who is leading
in the Pro Bowl as a rookie.
Yeah. I mean, he flips the field. I mean, he's a field flipper. Another really solid pick that they made in the draft. And maybe that's a discussion for a later time, about just how they choose guys and how it all makes sense. I mean, Crawshaw has been a tremendous addition to this football game. The one game notwithstanding that he was kicking balls off the side of his foot and everything else like that, we were all wondering what in the hell was going on. But be that as it may, they've got all of these other areas taken care of, and there is still a significant ceiling that they're playing under, especially on offense. I think that this is an offense that can continue to develop and continue to evolve, and I think that it will evolve. Now, they've got some tough outs here. They're playing the Packers, who are a top 5 defense. This is a real challenge coming up this weekend for this Broncos offense, and I will be very interested to see how they attack this defense that's been good against everybody all season long.
Okay, publicly the players would dismiss the power rankings. That's just how they've been trained, right? Anything that potentially can come up controversial.
Sure.
They have been trained well by the media relations staff. Don't take the bait. But privately, do you think it bothers them a little bit and it's doing nothing more than just building a bigger chip on that shoulder?
Well, anything that builds a chip, even if you're kind of going college guy on me, I mean, and rankings are kind of like college type things to me. It's kind of manufactured.
Don't tell Notre Dame that.
Us against the world. Well,
don't tell Notre Dame that.
Fine. But this is the NFL. I think it's probably a little less here. I think that they know who they are. They know who they're playing. I think that they're comfortable with who they are. But anything that gives you a little bit of the us versus them kind of thing is not a bad thing on any level, NFL notwithstanding. So does it matter a lot to these guys? I don't know. I'm in the locker room every single weekend. There's not a lot of conversation about lack of respect and things of that nature. Maybe in their quietness when they have conversations, maybe it comes up. I don't know. I think that there's just a lot of confidence with who they are. And I think that they're confident in all 3 phases. And I think that they feel like they can go out and do what they need to do because they've done it. It gets back to that. How do you gain confidence? Through demonstrated ability. We keep tipping our hat to Sean on that little pearl that he gave us 3 years ago. But you know what? It's come to fruition. They've got the demonstrated ability right now. Why in the hell wouldn't the Broncos go out and think they are going to win every single weekend? Because that's what they're doing.
Let's say the Broncos beat the Packers. Doesn't have to be decisive.
No.
Let's say they win. Of those 9 power rankings that don't have the Broncos number 1, but they beat the Packers, how many of those rankings will suddenly have the Broncos number 1? Because honestly, I think the power rankings have something to do with the teams that they have beaten and how they have beaten them.
Yeah.
Because now I think I think nationally, now people are looking at the Broncos schedule. They're playing 3 teams that are going to likely make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then they have the Chiefs on the road on Christmas at Arrowhead. I think that a lot of national people are pointing towards the rest of the schedule and saying, okay, now you got to play playoff teams. Let's see how you do.
What? Give me a quick knee jerk. How do they do in these 4 games? What's their record in these 4 games? Just off the top of your head, even without thinking about it.
3-1 or 2-2.
I got 3-1.
Yeah,
and I'm with you. 3-1 and 2-2. And you know what? There'd be nothing wrong with 2-2.
Nope.
Not one single thing wrong with 2-2.
Yeah, 13-4 is a pretty good overall record.
I think you'd take it, right? You'd take it to the bank.
Yeah.
14-3 is even more amazing because then you're talking about probably being the number 1 seed.
Yes.
14-3 gets you there. I think it gets you there. Right.
Well, looking at the Patriots schedule,
Right.
I'd rather have the Patriots schedule than the Broncos schedule.
Yeah, I would too.
But heading into the playoffs, I'd rather have the Broncos schedule.
Mm-hmm. The Broncos are playing 3 or 4 at home, and I mean
that plays a big role.
I think it plays a big role when you stop to consider that they've won 11 straight games at home. Right. So I do think that I think that they have a tremendous advantage playing at home this weekend against the Packers, and the Packers are, to me, Packers, Rams, Seahawks are the legitimate 3 teams in the NFC, the 3 Super Bowl. If I had to say today, give me the 3 that you think are most likely to be in the Super Bowl, those would be the 3 from the NFC.
But honestly, I think it's the Rams, the Seahawks, a little bit of a gap, then the Packers.
Yeah, I would agree. I think you're right. I think the Rams and the Seahawks, Rams, however you want to put those two, are kind of on one level. The Packers are probably on the next one, but there are no weaknesses with the Packers, man. When you look at now, I mean, well, that's not true. In a relative sense, their offense is their quote unquote weakness. They're only 13th in the league in total offense. They're 19th in the league in rushing. They've got their metrics aren't even as good as the Broncos, interestingly enough, when you compare apples to apples, which it's not apples to apples because the Packers have played a different schedule. So,
when I look at the Packers offense, specifically their wide receivers, nobody scares me. They have a bunch of good wide receivers.
Yeah.
Some are, very good. No one's great.
Dobbs. Yeah.
No. I like their wide receivers.
I do too.
You know what? Their wide receivers remind me of the Broncos wide receivers.
Interesting.
Nobody scares you, but all of them can catch the ball and do some damage on you.
Very capable.
But they're capable. But no, I don't look at anybody and say this guy can put up 100 yards on his receiver.
Yeah. I mean, and they've got Josh Jacobs, who is the historical Broncos killer from his time, right?
Historical.
I mean, historical Broncos killer from all of his years with the Raiders. The guy just plays well for whatever reason against the Broncos. It's very intriguing. In fact, these teams there are a lot of similarities between these two teams when you get down to sacks allowed. Both of them have very strong protective units on their offensive line. They don't give up a lot of sacks. So I think it's an under game for me because I think defenses will rule the day in this game. I really do. This is the kind of day where a big defensive takeaway, which, by the way, neither team have been particularly great at this year, particularly the Broncos. They have 3 in their last 4, but man, it would be nice to see. Everyone keeps saying, well, when the turnovers come, they come in bunches. Well, we haven't seen anything in bunches. Maybe that starts to happen. But it's not like the Packers, who have lived on turnovers the last couple of years, haven't had that this year. It's been a little bit of a weird thing for the Packers, but I love this game. I think it's the best game in the NFL this weekend. I think it is a legitimate, without blushing or stumbling, it is a legitimate potential Super Bowl preview. It really is. You can see a path not easily, because there's no easy path with 4 weeks left to get to the Super Bowl, and you haven't even played a playoff game. But it is a legitimate matchup for a Super Bowl, which makes it even that much more intriguing.
Let's turn it around to the Pro Bowl, in which you could make the case players really don't take voting very seriously.
No.
And after looking at the opening round, for lack of a better phrase, of fan voting and looking at how many Broncos have gotten votes from the fans, fan votes should be 100% taken away. I'll explain why next.
Here's another great promotion from Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos in Blackhawk. On December 13th, it's their annual holiday auction for a pair of Super Bowl tickets, tools, jewelry, electronics, toys, and kitchen appliances. Earn auction currency with every locked-up jackpot, players' points, or a daily cash drawing. There's so many ways to earn currency, and the more you play, the more you'll be able to bid and win what you want at their auction. So get up to Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos and start stacking your auction currency today.
Everyone has their favorite sports bar. Mine, the Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, DTC, and now in Parker. All their locations are everything a sports bar should be. An upscale menu with 12 different burgers, outstanding wings, and my favorite, the Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. They've got every game on the NFL Sunday Ticket, MLB Extra Innings, NHL Center Ice, NBA League Pass, plus soccer, rugby, and UFC. Sportsbook, great hangout bar, great for private parties. The Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, DTC, and now in Parker. They are the sports bar.
Ferguson's Heating and Cooling is the best in Denver, and their customers agree. Ferguson's has 165 5-star Google reviews, and here's one from Betsy. Highly professional, prompt, and honest. I switched to Ferguson's when I became aware my former company was trying to sell me a whole new system I didn't need. Ferguson's is an honest, working, family-owned business that'll give you a fair price, the highest quality parts and equipment, and they always show up on time. You can trust the Ferguson family like you trust your own family. Go to fergusonsheatingandcooling.com.
Everyone has their favorite barbecue spot. Mine, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. My favorites, slowly smoked ribs, smoked corned beef Reuben, smoked meatloaf with a portobello balsamic cream sauce. Don't forget about Smokin' Dave's 16-hour smoked brisket and pork with one of their 4 homemade barbecue sauces. Great sides, you bet. Barbecue beans made with pork and brisket and their southern corn bake. Man, you gotta try it. Plus, they have amazing non-barbecue entrees on the menu. Go where I go, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew in North Denver.
Ever wondered where city and county fleet vehicles go when they retire? Now's your chance to find out and score big. Imagine driving away with a great deal on a reliable vehicle. For over 45 years, Roller Auction has been the trusted source for government fleet vehicles and equipment. Trucks, SUVs, sedans, and more, all selling to the highest bidder. Don't miss out. Visit roller.bid/hot takes to get auction updates today. Your next vehicle could be just a click away.
And welcome back. Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. No, leave those on. You look much smarter.
Nope.
Okay.
I don't like them. Too much glare.
Suddenly your IQ just went down. You're quoting somebody in politics. You're a very low IQ person.
It started low enough. Don't worry.
Well, listen, you got major competition when it comes to heading to the basement when I'm talking about IQ. Okay?
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely. I hear you on that.
And notice how you're not even debating me like, no, actually, Eric, you're kind of smart. And you're my friend. With that, I want to tell you about Ferguson's Heating and Cooling. They're just amazing. We worked with them twice. I'll start with our furnace. It was cold as hell in the house. They came out that day and fixed it. They didn't say we needed a new furnace. They fixed it, which I love. They don't sell you stuff that you don't need. Hot water heater. They came out hours later because we're taking cold showers out there that day. And we did need a new hot water heater because ours was over 10 years old. That I totally understand. Fair pricing, show up on time. They do what they say they're going to do. Totally trust them. Ferguson'sHeatingandCooling.com. It's the only company that you should call if you are having problems with your HVAC unit, with your furnace, or with your hot water heater. Ferguson'sHeatingandCooling.com. Time now for What's Trending.
What's Trending is presented by Ferguson's Heating and Cooling. Your family should trust the Ferguson family for all your heating and cooling needs, and you'll see why they have over 165 5-star Google reviews. Make an appointment today at fergusonsheatingandcooling.com.
NFL fans don't know football. I'll just put it right out there. The fan Pro Bowl voting is out. And remember, when it comes to the Pro Bowl, the votes are tabulated as third of it comes from the fans, third of it comes from the players, third of it comes from the coaches. Did I get that correct?
Yes.
Through 2 weeks, Jeremy Crawshaw, the rookie, is number 1 in voting for the Pro Bowl. Benito, Hufanga, Zach Allen, number 2. Surtain and Bowles are not in the top 10. Quinn Miners is number 7. Also not getting votes, Nix, Singleton, and Lutz. I will start it this way, and it's going to sound like a knock, and it is not. Jeremy Crawshaw is ranked 15th in the league in punting. How is he number 1? Good for him. Good for him.
Yeah.
How in the world and a lot of times with the Pro Bowl, name recognition will get you votes even if you're having a crappy year. Pat Surtain is the reigning defensive rookie of the year, and he's not top 10.
Defensive player of the year, right? Absolutely. Look,
anyway, he's not top 10.
right.
If you truly know football, you know that Garrett Bowles hasn't given up a sack this year.
Yeah.
How is he not top 10? Right. Shame on the fans. And honestly, if what I'm reading is correct, and it is because it's all documented, that Surtain and Bowles are not top 10 and Jeremy Crawshaw is number 1, they need to relook at how they have voting for the Pro Bowl.
Well,
and it's not a knock on Crawshaw at all. And it sounds like it, but I'm not trying to dig the guy.
We're taking shots at things that I think are probably, I don't want to say this because you and I know this from being in locker rooms. Pro Bowl still does carry some weight with players. They do pay attention to being in a Pro Bowl, even now if it's only just basically attaching a title because there's no real Pro Bowl to go play in. It's a good party and it's a skills, competition, and maybe you got a flag football game, but there's still a part of it that is recognized, at least 2/3 of it is recognized by coaches and players.
Players shouldn't have votes either.
No, because players don't pay attention.
Well, think about this for a second, Bruce. And I tell this story every year when it comes to the Pro Bowl, and I'm sure you've heard it, so please allow me to tell this story. For starters, okay, unlike generally speaking in baseball, but certainly in the NHL and the NBA, you play every team. Not in baseball,
right?
But you do play teams in the American League.
Yeah.
But in the NBA and the NHL, you play every single team, even if it's only once or twice. Okay. In the NFL, these guys are so busy prepping for games, they are probably truly not paying attention to what is going on in the league, and they will vote based on reputation. So here is my story. I'm sure you have heard it. Many years ago, I'm in the Broncos locker room, and guys are filling out their Pro Bowl ballots. And I can't remember the player's name. Even if I knew the player's name, I would not mention the player's name right here. And he said to me, "Eric, who should I vote for?" And he goes, "I don't know who to vote for." I said, "Why don't you vote for me?" And he wrote my name down and submitted it. I've gotten a Pro Bowl vote.
That is cool.
Didn't you know that? I told you that story, didn't I?
I know, but that's cool.
Well, it's cool, but it's not cool.
No,
it's cool for me. It's not cool for anybody else who legitimately deserved that Pro Bowl vote that I took away from that person. So fans clearly don't know what the hell they're talking about. If Surtain and Bowles are not top 10, and then you have many players who, you play 17 games, but you double up on 2 teams from your own division.
Right.
I mean,
you go through cycles in the NFL where you don't see a team for 4 years.
Correct.
I mean, your roster can totally flip, and in the time that you see a team once and then you see them again 4 years later. It's just kind of the way it is. Look, there's a lot of problems with fan voting. I understand both Major League Baseball, the NFL, where there's fan voting. You want to get interactivity. You want the fans to be involved. The concept is great. The outcome isn't always great because things like provincialism, lack of knowledge, just voting on a player because they're on your team. Everybody's got a different thing that leads them through selecting somebody for the Pro Bowl. At the end of the day, it's just not very important stuff. Kind of like power rankings to me are not very important stuff. I got on the tram last night at DIA. Who's
Garrett? Was Garrett the voice?
First voice that I hear?
Yeah.
All Pro left tackle Garrett Bowles welcoming me back to Denver. You know what? That's important. When you're in All Pro, that's a big deal.
Yeah, but wait a minute. Don't you think there are more than a few players that have Pro Bowl in their contract for a bonus?
Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that it's not on some level, that there isn't a level of importance, but in the grand scheme of things, relative to the voice that fans have, it's not a really large one. And I mean, if you've got a third of the vote and you've got a lot of people voting, fine. But I mean, I trust, and you've already pointed out, you can't really trust the players and nor the coaches, really. No. I mean, the coaches, I mean, they look at a lot of film. So, I mean, at least they've got that going for them. And they look at a lot of general wide-ranging film. But, I mean, I don't know. At the end of the day, Pro Bowl, great, fine. It used to be, I think, more important than it is now. That's not to diminish guys getting to the Pro Bowl, but I don't think it's that big a deal anymore.
I think the system should be broadcasters are voting. When I say broadcasters, I mean every guy who is part of the panel on the NFL Today, the pregame show for Fox, and then say to a bunch of Hall of Famers, we will give you a vote if you take it seriously watching all games. And have the voting of about 20 people, former players, guys who watch every single game, bunch of guys on ESPN, so on and so forth. I mean, I would not recommend that the College Football Playoff Committee takes over, because then there will be 0 Notre Dame players going to the Pro Bowl.
Good shot. It's very difficult to, even if you are an experienced viewer of the NFL, it is very difficult to watch a game from a standpoint of an all 22. When you can watch a game on film from the all 22, then you can really get into the nuances of how plays are being blocked, which way lines are sliding, what they're trying to take away and who they're trying to take away, how effectively Crosby is getting Max Crosby is getting blocked on a particular play. It's hard when you're sitting there for 60 minutes, even like you and I are, from the warmth and the great view of a press box, to watch all 22. You're watching the ball, you're watching the quarterback, you're watching. There's a lot of things that are difficult to watch on every single play unless you have the benefit of an all 22, and you can really slow down a game and watch the way that players are playing. It's tough for anyone, even people that really know what to watch for.
Well, listen. When it comes to the Pro Bowl, you're basing it on numbers a lot of times.
Sure.
How many interceptions does a guy have? How many pass breakups does a guy have?
Yeah.
But how in the world can the average NFL fan even possibly vote on a left or right guard?
It just, I mean, right? Yeah. I mean,
who is watching the left guard on every play?
How many people watching a football game, and I mean people, period, can tell you at the end of the day how many times your left guard pulled during the game? And I'm talking about experienced viewers. That's just not stuff that you generally watch for. Now, when you watch a replay, you can see the result of it, right? You can see Quinn Miners clearing a path on a run, or, doing an amazing thing on pass protection, or you can see a running back, cut across a quarterback and pick up a guy coming from the right side. But in real time, sometimes those are easy to miss. You just see the game. You see the play, and the speed of the play is gone. And then 35 seconds later, 40 seconds later, we got another play coming. It's tough to do.
How many players on this current team have the trajectory for the Ring of Fame? Surtain for sure. I guess Surtain for sure.
Surtain,
Now,
Sutton,
okay.
Bowles.
Now, Bowles, when you look at his accomplishments, it's pretty thin. He has an All-Pro and I think maybe a Pro Bowl on his resume. And with the way that he started, I'm not saying he shouldn't be. I'm leaning more towards he should be in the Ring of Fame.
Yeah.
But when you look at his accomplishments, it's a pretty thin resume.
I would like to know what their postseason prowess is going to end up looking like.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But I
Super Bowl,
right,
bang,
everything changes then. Yeah, then everything changes. Once you get a Super Bowl, it changes the weight of your contributions, right?
Right.
But
if you had to guess,
but you use the term trajectory, so I mean that allows you some leeway on your trajectory. I think Miners is a guy that you got to pay very close attention to.
I mean, I'll ask you.
That's probably where I'd stop.
Tell me the postseason awards that Garrett Bowles has won. Whether it's all pro, Pro Bowl. You probably know the answer, but if you don't, I'm curious to know your guess.
Well, I know. I mean, he's all pro. I don't know if he's been. I thought maybe one Pro Bowl or something like that. I don't even know.
His only postseason honor is second team All Pro in 2020. That's it.
Yeah.
So, how do you justify putting him in the Ring of Fame when that's really thin?
Yeah.
That's really thin resume.
Yeah.
Do I think that he has been, for a guy who plays every game and he's gotten better year by year? He struggled in his first 2-3 years.
Oh, yeah, no question.
But he started in 2017. What has he done really for the last 6 years? He's been, I don't want to say great, but easily the floor is very good.
Well, he's been great this year, and that's great capitalized.
Don't tell the fans that he's not top 10.
Well, I mean, I hear you on that, but when you don't give up a sack in a pass-happy offense where a guy's dropping back 37, 38 times a game, or, I mean, I think only 2 quarterbacks have thrown more passes than Bo Nix this year, and you're lining up at left tackle on his blind side, and you haven't given up a sack, I mean, you better pay attention to that. That's a very telling.
Well, tell that to the fans. He's not top 10.
I mean, I hear you on that, but I mean, I can't speak for the fans.
Yeah.
But I think that you could make. I mean, I think that Surtain and Sutton are 2 guys that are making strong arguments. Then I think that you have. And you bring up a good point on Bowles, but I'll stick with Bowles and Miners and maybe.
No, I'm not saying Bowles shouldn't go in.
Yeah,
I'm saying just
those are guys that I would look at. Yeah, their trajectory I think is probably good, and maybe I change that point of view from afar the next few years. But I like that trajectory right now for where they are.
I'll give you a sleeper. Is Zach Allen? He's got another contract. He's going to be here for a while.
Yeah, Zach Allen, I think, will be a guy at the end of the day. And look, and Nick Bonito is off to that kind of start in his career. There is no question that he's on that kind of start in his career. So, you've got some guys on this team that I think will be in the mix, no question about it. And they are 11-2, and they've got some other things ahead of them coming up.
I'm going to throw another guy out there who's not in the top 10 for Pro Bowl votes, and he missed 1 game this season, just 1. Had he not missed that game, and you look at the average number of tackles he has per game, if Alex Singleton did not miss 1 game because he had surgery for testicular cancer, right?
Yeah.
He'd be second in the league in tackles. he's not top 10.
Yeah.
And he's missed one game.
I mean, I hear you. And he's a great story, and he's likable.
Yeah.
And he's a great player.
Yeah.
I mean, all of the things that go with it. No, you're absolutely right. And those are, well, we'll finish with the quandary. We started with the quandary about the Avs in extra time, in overtime or in shootouts. Pro Bowl voting and things of that nature is another quandary that, that I probably would have difficulty understanding why it's so hard to, even as a fan, if you're a good fan in the NFL, you can generally get enough information right now if you're going to do something to vote for, like voting for the Pro Bowl, to make it a well thought out ballot to fill in. Even if you have a couple of favorites that you're going to go for just favorite sakes, it's not hard to know that Patrick Surtain is one of the 2 or 3 best corners in the game, period, every year. You don't even have to have the Defensive Player of the Year honors for him last year to guide you. You just know it.
Here is the difference between the way balloting was done in baseball years ago and the way balloting is done today for the NFL. Balloting in the NFL is you can sit in front of your computer and that's how you vote. You can be sitting on the toilet and you can be voting for the Pro Bowl. Okay? Chances are you're not wasted when you're voting online sitting on a toilet. I'm going to make that assumption, I hope, for most fans. Back in the day for baseball, you were probably 4 beers in by the time you got your hand ballot. And that's when you start. And you're only voting for guys on your own team. So you don't have an excuse that you're sober when you're doing it and you're not voting for Bowles and you're not voting for Surtain. This is baseball where you get the paper ballot. Another beer here. And then you put in random guys, waiting for that beer to put you over the top where you can't drive home.
Oh my God.
With your kids who are eating Dippin' Dots in the 8th inning at 9:00 at night, and with all that sugar, they're not going to fall asleep.
Well said.
Let's end on that. This has been Hot Takes with Goodman and Haertl. Make it the best possible day you can.